He doesn't like it. He's stamping his feet like an impetuous, tantrum-prone little teenager who didn't get his way. That's basically it, isn't it?
At this point, Prince Harry should probably get an award for being the world champion of the blame game. He always has a new villain, a new enemy, a new person to hold responsible for his misfortunes and questionable choices. One day, it's his brother, the next, it's the press, then the institution, and now he has decided palace officials are the reason his reunion with King Charles was a complete flop. Because of course, it could never be Harry's fault.
They said I gave a picture of Meghan and the kids. That's not true. That wasn't the picture I gave, and so on and so forth. Going through every single detail of the story, blaming courtiers, men in grey suits at the palace, for trying to sabotage his bid to get back in with Charles and the royal family.
When news broke that Harry was coming to New York to see his father, everyone was left scratching their heads. What was his real motive? Was this finally going to be the emotional father-son reunion people had been waiting for? Or was it another attempt to get himself back into the spotlight after going quiet for too long? For someone who constantly says he wants privacy, he sure does know how to stay in the news. Some even joke that maybe the silence was too unbearable and Harry was just itching to see his name trending again. Now, the much-anticipated meeting happened at Clarence House in early September. Considering that Harry hadn't seen his father in a year and a half,
about his family. The last time Harry and Charles met was February 2024, when the Duke of Sussex flew to London after his father was diagnosed with cancer.
Many expected it would be a meaningful sit-down, the kind where father and son talk through painful past and maybe even share a few laughs. But instead of a full day of bonding, the entire meeting was wrapped up in just 55 minutes.
Busy today.
The Duke's meeting lasted about 55 minutes. Buckingham Palace would only confirm the two had a private tea.
Yes, less than an hour. People spend longer than that waiting for their food at a busy restaurant. For a supposed reconciliation, the brevity of the meeting spoke louder than any press release ever could. Naturally, Harry wasn't happy. And when Harry isn't happy, the world has to hear about it. He quickly went on the offensive, lashing out at Buckingham Palace staff. His first jab, calling them men in gray suits, a phrase that instantly echoed Diana's complaints decades ago. It's as if Harry can't stop reliving his mother's battles, adopting her words, her grievances, and wearing them like a badge of honor.
Suits are trying to sabotage my reunion with my father. Here, he is doing some high-level manipulation. And what do I mean by that? The men in grey suits term? Princess Diana said that back in the day, saying that the men in grey suits were trying to destroy her, the men in grey suits were trying to block her from living her life, this, that, and the other.
But unlike Diana, Harry's accusations come across as a recycled script, one that grows thinner every time he repeats it. He accused palace officials of sabotaging his reconciliation with King Charles.
And his father. Now, Prince Harry has accused unnamed palace figures of sabotage.
But how exactly did they sabotage it? Did they lock him out of the building? Did they whisper in Charles's ear to keep the meeting short? Or did they simply remind Charles of all the embarrassing interviews, memoirs, and documentaries Harry has thrown at the family? If this is sabotage, then Harry has been his own saboteur all along. According to Harry, these staff members are running a smear campaign against him, feeding hostile stories to the press to ensure peace talks never succeed. The problem with that logic? The talks were between him and his father alone, no one else, so why drag everyone else into it? If the man cannot sit with his dad for more than 55 minutes without blaming outsiders, maybe the issue is closer to home than he'd like to admit.
He had to then go on to victim mode yet again. All this information out there is not even true. The men in grey suits are now trying to sabotage. And this is the thing as well. Notice he's now changing the goalpost to who the villains are. All these years, the villains have been the king, the evil stepmother, queen that he calls her, Prince William, Princess Catherine. But now, they're not the villains anymore. Now, it's the men in grey suits.
Of course, a source close to Harry chimed in to say, reconciliation should only be between the king and Harry, with no interference from courtiers. Sounds noble on the surface, but we all know where that line of thinking came from. a certain someone in California who has never hidden her disdain for the palace machine. And yet, Harry happily plays along, adopting the idea that the courtiers are the big bad wolves keeping him from his father. With these constant attacks, it's no surprise the royal family is keeping their distance. How can they welcome him back when every word exchange risks being leaked, twisted, or published in yet another Netflix special? Privacy is supposed to be what Harry and Meghan wanted, yet everything he does screams the opposite. His life is less about protecting private moments and more about making sure private moments turn into public scandals.
That Prince Harry can't let go. He seems to want to always start a fight. And this is part of the reason why he could never come back into the royal family, because you do have to a very large degree, live by that mantra of don't complain, don't explain.
During that rushed meeting with Charles, talks were supposedly held about Harry attending more public events in Britain. Not as a working royal, of course, that ship has sailed, but at least as a family member present at certain occasions. Then, the media began reporting that Harry would never be allowed to hold a half-in, half-out position.
Something in it that Harry wanted a half-in, half-out role. How do you think that would work?
We knew it wouldn't work.
No mixing California freedom with royal duties, and that, many believe, was the real trigger for his outbursts. When it became clear to him that his idea of a part-time royal gig was never going to happen, he turned his anger on the palace staff again, calling them the same old men in gray suits. He never once considered that maybe, just maybe, the problem started when he and Meghan walked away in the first place. And the palace didn't hold back either. One insider took a swipe at him with a stinging remark, saying Harry mistook a quick tea and slice of cake for the Treaty of Versailles. The comment painted Harry as someone who exaggerates every encounter, building mountains out of molehills. It was reported that the meeting was awkward, cold, and extremely brief, with Charles keeping things formal and detached. Of course, Harry's spokesperson immediately denied it, claiming the story was invented to damage his relationship with his father.
Statement from the Duke's spokesperson. He said, recent reporting of the Duke's view of the tone of the meeting is categorically false. The quotes attributed to him are pure invention, fed, one can only assume, by sources intent on sabotaging any reconciliation between father and son.
But denial has become Harry's favorite shield. Every time a report makes him look bad, it's branded as false, unfair, or sabotage. At some point, people start to wonder, is every story false? Or is Harry just allergic to accountability? And let's not act like this is new behavior. Harry has a long history of blaming palace staff. At his own wedding, he clashed with officials and barred some from even photographing him. Later, he accused courtiers of planting endless negative stories about him and Meghan.
And so he was angry, and I felt, we were punished for that. And in fact, I never got one picture in the paper published from that day.
And then came the memoir, where he painted palace staff as villains again, giving 3 of them nicknames Bee, Wasp, and Fly, and claiming they orchestrated his and Meghan's exit. He even tied them back to Diana's divorce, suggesting these same types of figures had conspired against his mother too. It's like Harry sees palace staff as an all-powerful secret society dedicated to making his life miserable. Fast forward to the present, and he is still singing the same song. By 2027, he hopes to attend the Invictus Games in Birmingham, dreaming of making another public appearance with his father.
I think he's looking for any reason, any excuse to get back there. And since, it's widely reported that his dad doesn't take all of his phone calls, maybe this is the perfect excuse for him to go spend a significant time over there.
But unless he can stop pointing fingers and actually take some responsibility, that dream will stay a dream. Reconciliation is impossible when one side refuses to admit fault. Meanwhile, Prince William is reportedly having none of it. Sources claim he grows visibly angry whenever Harry's name is mentioned. For William, reconciliation isn't even on the table. And given the constant drama, can anyone really blame him? So, here we are again, watching Harry spin the wheel of blame. First it was the media, then it was the institution, then his brother, now palace staff.
All these years, the villains have been the king, the evil stepmother, queen that he calls her, Prince William, Princess Catherine.
Who's next? His neighbors? His gardener? At some point, he may run out of people to accuse and finally have to look in the mirror. What do you think? Is Harry ever going to stop playing the victim, or will the blame game be his legacy? Was he like this from the beginning, or did he change after marrying Meghan? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more. See you in the next video.